Sad for Chad. Sad for our club, but mostly for Chad. Just an incredible career. Only two field players that have ever played 400 times for an MLS team. As I said in the release, for me, one of the best domestic careers ever in the history of the league. Only guy to win Defender of the Year 3 times. We can go on through the accolades, but just an amazing player, and I think important to say too that really good person and meant a lot to our club on and off the field. I'm just grateful and lucky and humbled to have had him for as long as we did.
How did this all come about? When did Chad approach you about retirement?
So you guys all saw the injury he suffered in the playoffs last year at Portland, and he had to have surgery out of that. That surgery was successful, but we were warned at the time that there could be issues down the road. And so what we set up was a monitoring program for Chad, and we checked in every couple of weeks and how you doing and took some pictures and that kind of thing. And recently, after the Minnesota game, we had rapid degeneration in his knee joint, and unfortunately, after some discussion, it was decided that maybe this was the best course of action for everybody.
Garth, was there an acute injury that happened in the Minnesota game that caused the rapid?
No. Now this was the risk is, and again, I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to distort or unintentionally misstate anything, but it was a meniscus injury. When he pulled the meniscus out, you obviously have some type of bone-on-bone contact potentially. And again, I don't want to certify that that's what was happening, but that was the risk, and that obviously causes some problems down the road. So that's what we were attentive to. That's what we were careful about. And again, I'd say this that we knew that Chad, had given everything he had. I mean, this is a guy that, took an epidural shot at one point to play in a game. I mean, he's as tough as they come. And if he's coming to you saying, this is getting hard, then, you probably want to listen to him.
How much pain is he in now? I mean, is it something where he's walking around in constant pain too?
I don't think so, and I don't know that it's constant pain. I mean, better to talk to Chad, and he can tell you what's happening to his body and all stuff. So, I want to be careful. I don't want to characterize the medical knowledge here because I'm not a medical expert. But I do think that, anytime you get to 35, things start to wear down, and I think that's what happened a little bit with Chad.
How was he in the conversations then with you about making the decision?
Sad. Chad, yeah, it's hard. It's just hard. He played a long time and did a lot of great things and was a wonderful part of our organization. And these conversations with any player are never easy, and this one wasn't easy. And, as part of the process of how we got here, again, we kind of both went into this knowing that there was some risk that we could wind up here. I think we got here quicker than we thought we were going to get here, and it happened more suddenly than we thought it was going to happen. But just given the nature of 400 games in the league, I don't know that you can say it was a shocking outcome in the big picture of things.
Has there been any talk moving forward about his involvement still with the club and in any role or capacity?
We've discussed things like that, but again, I'll defer to Chad. Chad should be the one talking about what he wants to do next and what comes next for him. Certainly from a Sounders perspective, our door is open. As I said, he's a guy who's been amazing for the franchise on and off, and we would welcome his continuation as part of the Sounders family and almost any capacity he can come up with. So that'll be up to Chad.
You mentioned the signings weren't a part, or he wasn't a part of the motivation to make the 2 signings, but now you definitely, could use more reinforcements. When are they expected to arrive, or do you have any update on those 2?
Sure. We think that Javier could arrive as soon as tomorrow. So we'll obviously tell you guys as soon as we know for sure. And just to reiterate, that was something we did. That was a good long-term signing. Oldest positional group in the club, and he's a guy that we think is an answer for the long term. And certainly his integration may be accelerated, but I'd also stress that I think Roman Torres has played very well. Kim Kehe's played very well, and so it's not like we don't have good options there, and we're hoping to get Gustav back in some capacity this week as well. So it's another guy who can play center back for us, and Jonathan Campbell did well in Philadelphia, so definitely a piece that'll help, but unrelated to the Marshall transaction in the short term, in the sense of, did we think this was going to happen? No. This was really a long-term decision for the benefit of the club.